Isekai is my go-to when I just wanted to kick back, relax, and enjoy a simple adventure. With that being said, we have 8 new exciting Isekai anime this early 2025 that you can already binge watch. To start off our list, we have Zenshu. Follows Natsuko Hirose, a skilled animator who is unexpectedly transported to a world inspired by her favorite childhood anime. This isekai adventure blends reality with fantasy as Natsuko discovers that her creative abilities hold the key to shaping the world around her. In this new realm, she finds herself tasked with solving challenges that require her artistic vision and imagination, forcing her to rethink the very nature of creativity. It's amazing how this anime balances fantasy with introspective moments. It's not just about the fantastical elements of the isekai world, but also about how Natsuko grows as a person, learning to understand herself and her craft in ways she never imagined. As she faces challenges that push the limits of her abilities, Natsuko's journey becomes one of self-discovery, where she must confront both her insecurities and her aspirations. The world she inhabits is not just a backdrop, but a canvas for her personal transformation, adding layers of depth to the story. Next on our list is Welcome to Japan, Miss Elf. This anime follows a young man who unexpectedly finds himself living with an elf from another world. As they navigate life between fantasy realm and modern-day Japan, the elf struggles to adjust to modern life, bringing a touch of magic and chaos to the protagonist's ordinary world. Her otherworldly nature leads to humorous clashes and heartwarming moments as they learn about each other's worlds. The series focuses on the lighthearted cultural differences and amusing misunderstandings that arise from the elf's magical perspective colliding with the mundane aspects of everyday life in Japan. It's a simple, feel-good isekai that doesn't bog down viewers with complex plots or heavy themes. With humor, misunderstandings, and a touch of magic, Welcome to Japan Miss Elf offers a fun, laid-back journey perfect for fans looking for a cozy and charming adventure. Next up, From Bureaucrat to Villainess. Now, I almost skipped this but decided to watch it anyway, and I'm so glad that I did. From Bureaucrat to Villainess is one of those isekai stories that really stood out to me. It follows an old, hardworking otaku government official who suddenly gets reincarnated as a villainess in a fantasy world. What's so cool about this show is that, instead of following the typical villainous trope, he uses his knowledge of politics, bureaucracy, and being an otaku to navigate the complex world of nobility and avoid his inevitable downfall. What I love about this series is that it doesn't rely on magic or brute strength even though he's OP. Instead, it's all about intelligence, strategy, and political maneuvering. The main character really uses his smarts to outmaneuver his rivals and forge alliances, and honestly, it's refreshing to watch. If you're into stories with clever leads and lots of court intrigue, From Bureaucrat to Villainess might just be what you're looking for. Coming up next, Headhunted to Another World, From Salaryman to Big Four. Now, this really caught my attention. It follows a regular salaryman who gets unexpectedly recruited into another world. But not just as any ordinary person, he ends up joining one of the Demon Lord's generals. What's interesting here is how he uses his skills as a salaryman to rise through the ranks, leveraging his business knowledge to navigate this strange new world. This anime doesn't go the usual route of just relying on magical powers or combat skills. Instead, the protagonist's journey is more about using strategy, leadership, and his experience from the corporate world to climb the ladder in a fantasy setting. It's refreshing to see an isekai that's more grounded in real-world skills. And if you're someone who enjoys watching a character outsmart his way to success, this show definitely delivers. This next one is a personal favorite. We have Magic Maker, How to Make Magic in Another World. Magic Maker is one of those hidden gems in the isekai genre that really grabbed my attention. The story follows a young man who's transported to a world where there isn't any magic. And instead of being born with magical abilities like most characters in this genre, he has to figure out how to make magic work for him. It's all about using creativity and determination to overcome obstacles in a world that doesn't hand him any easy solutions. I love how this isn't just about flashy magic battles. The protagonist really has to think outside the box and use his wits to create his own path. It's refreshing to see an isekai where the lead character's growth is centered around innovation and problem solving rather than relying on predetermined powers. If you enjoy seeing a character carve out his own destiny through clever thinking, Magic Maker is definitely worth checking out. Up next, the daily life of a middle-aged online shopper in another world. The story centers on an average, middle-aged man who, instead of getting caught up in grand battles or magical adventures, just ends up living a quiet life in another world, all while doing what he knows best: online shopping. It's such a refreshing take on the genre, focusing on the mundane aspects of life rather than the epic. What really hooked me is how the protagonist's ordinary life becomes this charming and relatable adventure. Instead of dealing with the usual isekai chaos, he uses his old world knowledge to navigate a world full of magical items and new opportunities. The humor, low stakes approach, and focus on everyday life make it feel more cozy and fun. If you're looking for an easygoing and lighthearted isekai, the daily life of a middle-aged online shopper in another world is definitely worth a watch. At number 2 we have The Red Ranger Becomes an Adventurer in Another World. This is one of those isekai series that mixes the usual fantasy adventure with a fun and unique twist. The story follows Kizuna Red, dies in the real world, and suddenly transported to a fantasy world of monsters and magic. What I enjoyed about this show is how it blends traditional isekai with sentai tropes, creating a fun mix of heroism, teamwork, and comedy. The dynamic between the characters keep things lighthearted and entertaining without getting bogged down in heavy plotlines. If you enjoy isekai with a bit of action, humor, and a nod to classic sentai heroes, this one's definitely worth checking out. And lastly, we have possibly the greatest alchemist of all time. The story follows a character who's reincarnated into a new world and quickly rises to fame for his incredible skills in alchemy. What's interesting about this anime is that it focuses on the protagonist's journey of mastering his craft and using his alchemical knowledge to solve problems rather than just focusing on battles or magic. The main character's passion for alchemy drives the story forward. It's not about instant power or quick fixes, it's about using creativity, science, and a bit of trial and error to make the world better. If you enjoy watching a character slowly build their reputation through skill and determination rather than luck or sheer strength, possibly the greatest alchemist of all time is a great choice. And that wraps up our new early 2025 Isekai list. If this video helped you find what you're looking for, you can help me back by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Until then, thank you for watching.